Hi, Kevin Henry, the Group Editorial Director for UBM Medica's Dental Division, including Modern Hygienist and Dental Products Report. And I'm on a Google Hangout today with my friend and one of America's foremost thought leaders when it comes to dental hygiene, Rachel Wall. Rachel, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing great, Kevin. It's good to be with you.
It's always good to chat with you, my friend. And I would just, before we start, I'd love for you to just tell our readers a little bit about yourself and also Inspired Hygiene.
Yeah, so I'm a hygienist through and through. Still get a chance to practice as often as I would like. And I'm so fortunate that I got to develop this team of hygienists and administrators to become Inspired Hygiene. And so we are lucky enough to go around the country and speak and privately coach dental practices to really up their game in the hygiene department. And, you know, a lot of times, Kevin, these doctors have spent so much time and money and energy in, you know, postgraduate CE and really, you know, studying the best that sometimes the team kind of gets left behind. And so very often they recognize, you know, it's time to, you know, send our administrators to ADOM, send our assistants to some hands-on courses, and then maybe call Inspired Hygiene and have us come in and help them really take things to the next level. So that's what we do.
Very cool, and you do a great job of it, no doubt about that. I've seen you in action, and I've seen the hygienists and dentists and team members just light up whenever you're talking, so it's always a great thing. You know, you mentioned time, you know, whenever you were doing your remarks, and you and I were talking before we went on the air that open time is really one of the hot buzz topics right now, and I'd love your take on that and what could be done to kind of minimize that in the practice.
Yeah. So I would say that's one of the things we see a lot when we ask, you know, what is your top challenge in your hygiene department is too much open time. And I think that part of the reason for that is just the change in our culture. You know, we used to go to work. I mean, when I graduated from hygiene school in 1991, there were no cell phones, there was no internet, there was no texting, there was none of that. So people went to work and they had a dentist appointment at 3 o'clock and they left and they went to their appointment and then they went back to work. So now we're just bombarded by demands on us from, you know, work, personal life, all of those things. And so sometimes maybe our patients don't put their dental appointment as high as a priority as we would like them to. So I wish I knew like this one silver bullet answer to end open time. It's a combination of a lot of things, but I wanted to talk today a little bit about how to analyze your open time and see, okay, so are we within reasonable limits or is this really out of control, and, you know, what are some things that we can do? And so one way to look at open time is to look at it as a percentage. And so a common industry standard that's been around for a long time is 8 to 10% open time is within a normal range. You know, Linda Miles says that 3 to 5% open time is just inevitable. It's just going to happen because we work with people and just life events occur. So if we look at 8 to 10%, and the way that we measure that is we take the number of open hours divided by the number of available hours. And an easy way to measure this is just to look at a month. So just go back, you know, and count up all the open hours that you had in hygiene, that there was time available to see patients, and just look at that percentage and see where you fall in that range. So if you're at 12%, then probably just a couple little tweaks, like really analyze if you're using a automated patient reminder system. You know, make sure that we're giving patients enough of a chance to confirm that appointment if we're doing that via email or text. So that might be a week out. And then making sure there's some kind of reminder in there in between that. So sometimes we'll go into practices, Kevin, and we'll see, you know, they've got a reminder 2 weeks out, and when the patient confirms, then nothing else happens. So, you know, unless it's a patient that just always shows up for appointments, then maybe they're fine. But a lot of people need just even that one little reminder to say, hey, we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And that kind of leads me to that, you know, I think customized, personalized confirmation is still really valid, and I really think that's one of the ways that we can kind of overcome some of this, you know, busyness, is really asking our patients, you know, what works for you? And some of them say, I need all those text reminders, and some say, you know, the minute I put it down in my calendar, then, you know, I'm going to be there, and you know you can depend on them. So we can always customize, you know, those settings in every patient's account in those automated patient reminders. So be proactive with that. But another little tip I wanted to share is how to know if your open time is really due to last minute cancellations and no-shows, or is it due to time that was never scheduled? And so what we find is that when practices are hitting 20 to 25% open time or more, then very often it's a capacity issue. So it could be that those cancellations and no-shows are still within that, 5 to 10% normal limit, but yet we've got a lot of hygiene time that's not being filled to begin with. And so it doesn't necessarily mean you have to cut hygiene time. That could be one solution, but it could just give you a cue and an awareness that, okay, we've got to figure out how to grow the number of patients that are coming into hygiene, whether that is, new patients, reactivation, more periotherapy, like services on the same patients, that those services that are in the patient's best interest. So one thing you can do is print your schedules. Maybe you can count it up, or you can even print the schedule at the beginning of the month for every day. And then at the end of the month, go back and see, okay, so how many of these were times that were open at the beginning of the month? And then how many of those did we fill? And then how many of this open time were appointments that were there that fell out? And so it takes some work and some investigation to figure that out. But hey, if you've got 20 to 25% open time, somebody on your team's got time to do that. So, just investigate that, and kind of figuring that out might be helpful.
And it seems to me it also just really reinforces that whole front office and back office have to communicate with each other and be on the same page.
Absolutely, yeah. And letting, the front office letting the back office know, hey, we've got some opportunities coming up in hygiene. When the patient sits down in the chair and says, gosh, like, you really wanted us to be here today. I got all these text messages, just saying, how's that working for you? And if they say, I really don't need all that, then, most of those software programs, it's really easy to, do it in the operatory, just unclick certain things, or have, again, communicate with your admin team and say, hey, Kevin, I know Kevin's got this history. He never breaks appointments, and he doesn't really need all these reminders. So how can we customize that for them? So yeah, communication always is key.
Rachel, great advice as always. Would you mind just giving our viewers, I should say, just a mention of how they can reach out to you for more information, or how they can find out more about your company?
Yeah, I'd love it if everyone can just go to inspiredhygiene.com, and you'll notice there on our website there's an offer for a free CD. So grab that free CD, and even more simple, just enter your name and email address, and you'll be able to get on our newsletter contact list. And we send videos and content like this every week. So we love everybody to join us.
Rachel, as always, hey, I appreciate your friendship, first of all, but also your expertise and your time this morning educating our viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kevin. Everybody have a great day.